You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. Another former Louisiana prep standout who left the state is in the portal. Shea Dixon had the news earlier today. Mississippi State wide receiver Zavon Thomas hit in the portal. Shea notes that not only Thomas was a receiver at Mississippi State, but also an electric return man who had 500-plus receiving yards this season. Prepped at John Ehret in New Orleans, was not an LSU target coming out of high school. He was the number 49 wide receiver in the class and 15th at the position in Louisiana. So not one of those guys who, when he signed in 2021, that had a ton of interest from LSU. But keep in mind, I know I keep saying this, but that 21 class for LSU, the receivers that they signed in 21, when you look at Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas, Chris Hilton, Jack Besh, you had Deion Smith in that class. Remember, was the number one player in the state of Mississippi who was here for a year, left, went JUCO, and is now at Ole Miss. You were Aaron. I'm missing another receiver off the top of my head. One of the guys that Keon Coleman was in that class, and then the other receiver from New Orleans who's now at Florida State, who I'm blanking on right now. But anyway, it was a massive receiver year in Louisiana. So a lot of good players got passed on. I mean, LSU passed on Keon Coleman. But I'll remember, Keon Coleman was a Tulane commit who finally got a Power 5 offer when Michigan State stepped up. And then he just blossomed and became a freak show and is going to be a first-round pick. Anyway, so it's my point in saying is it was understandable why LSU didn't sign Zavon Thomas coming out of John Ehret. But when I look at LSU and their receiver room next year, and I am assuming you are losing Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. Malik Neighbors is leading the country in receiving yards. Brian Thomas is leading the country in receiving touchdowns. You are losing both of those guys to the draft. The big question is Kyron Lacey. Will Kyron Lacey come back for his final season in Baton Rouge? If he does, then you have the guy that is the established veteran guy who is most likely to emerge into that number one role. Unless if someone passes him and he's sort of in that complimentary number two role. But keep in mind, after Kyron Lacey, this is the production you have returning. Chris Hilton has 19 career receptions. After Kyron Lacey, Chris Hilton is your most experienced receiver with 19 receptions. Aaron Anderson, who played one game for Bama last year, has 12 career receptions. Shelton Sampson, Kyle Parker, Jalen Brown, Kai Preon, none. So understand, between Hilton and Anderson, they've combined for 31 career receptions. They've combined for, you would have, if Kyron Lacey doesn't return, you would have a combined 31 career receptions returning. Look at the two Louisiana prep stars who left the state, went other places in the SEC, who are now in the portal, who LSU could target. Zavon Thomas, Mississippi State, and Will Sheppard at Vanderbilt. Zavon Thomas, in his career, is 2 seasons at State, 42 catches, 507 yards, and a touchdown. Also, the primary punt returner at Mississippi State the last 2 years, and Lord knows, LSU could use an experienced punt returner. Can I get an amen from the congregation? And then Will Sheppard has 47 career receptions. Sheppard was at Mandeville High, was a great high school player, but again, he's in a log jam of a class, went up to Vanderbilt where he's been a productive player. Now he's in the portal with the possibility of coming home. I love the young talent LSU signed in last year's class. Shelton Sampson was a 5-star. Kyle Parker was a really good player. We saw Jalen Brown make some remarkable catches in fall camp. Had a great catch and run in that open scrimmage in Tiger Stadium in fall camp that we got to see. Those are two young guys that you love. There are three young guys you love their upside. Kai Preon as well is a different style receiver, smaller, a little more versatile juke. Think Aaron Anderson. But I love the talent there. But similar to like we talk about with quarterback, if you have the opportunity to fill a need instead of leaving it up to chance, do it. And then you hope one of those young guys steps up and just steals the job and becomes awesome, the way Malik Neighbors did last year, or the way Malik Neighbors did in 21 after Kayshon Boutte's injury. So, yeah, maybe it's Shelton Sampson or Kyle Parker or Jaylen Brown. Maybe one of those guys steps up and is awesome next year. That'd be phenomenal to see. And hopefully Kyron Lacey comes back and Chris Hilton has a great year and Aaron Anderson steps up and you're just looking for somebody to be your 4. Hopefully. But I don't know that you necessarily count on that. So give yourself options. The great part about this is you don't need to go into the portal to get 2, 3, 4 receivers. You really just need 1. You need to add 1 guy in this receiver room that's got experience, so it's not a whole bunch of really green players. Maybe it's Will Shepherd, maybe it's Zavon Thomas. And the double benefit of Thomas is not only is he an experienced receiver in the SEC, but he can return punts as well. So we'll keep an eye on those. Will Shepherd, Zavon Thomas hit the portal today. 2 guys that prepped in Louisiana, stayed in the SEC, but left Louisiana. Now possibly the opportunity to come home. Bookmark that one. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.